Hi there folks, my name's NovaWin24 and welcome to another little Microsoft Flight Simulator tutorial video. So today we're going to be having a look at what is possibly one of the greatest things of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that is being able to add in additional content either from some of the amazing freeware members and developers of the community, or even from some of the amazing payware developers that exist in our virtual space as well. There is so much amazing content out there that we are fortunate enough to have access to. And as a content developer myself, it is one of the greatest things about flight simulation is the fact that we can add and grow and expand our hobby. Now, this video is going to be going through and walking through step by step on how to locate and navigate to your community folder, which is the place where you place all of your add-ons. And as well, it'll also go through, we're actually going to install an add-on as well. So a couple of things to quickly sort of say about this video here is that unfortunately this is not for Xbox users. Unfortunately, Xbox users at the moment, though there is no way to put content that is not available through the internal Microsoft marketplace, so the in-sim marketplace, onto the Xbox at the moment. That might change in the future, who knows? But for now, unfortunately, this is a PC only guide. Now, while we are doing this guide, this will be fairly detailed. This one, so there'll be there's timestamps down the bottom that you can skip to for certain sections if you want to skip through and see those. And otherwise, and the other thing to sort of make a note of as well is that we will not be covering off installers here. So we'll talk about them a little, but this is going to be when you have to manually put it on. And finally, we will not be dealing with add-on linking or add-on manager tools for this one. If this is purely for those of us who are getting started or those of us who just use the base community folder. This is the tutorial that we are setting up here today. All right, without any further ado, let's jump onto our desktop and let's get started with the process. All right, so to get started here now, a couple of assumptions that we are going to make here. So this first part here of the video, we are going to talk and we're going to walk through assuming that the Microsoft Flight Simulator has installed in its default location, which is somewhere on your C drive. So if you didn't choose a custom install path, whether you have a Steam install or whether you have a Windows Store install version of this sim, if you did not choose a custom install drive or a customized install location, this is the information that's going to be applicable to you. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to locate and go through the path. Now I'll put the extension, the full path will be available in the description down below here. But first thing that you do need to do if you do want to find this is that you do need to make sure that you have hidden items has been ticked here in your Windows Explorer. So this is your Windows Explorer window, just your run-of-the-mill Windows Explorer window, nothing fancy here. So make sure that you have hidden items shown. If you do not, you will not find what we are looking for. All right, so to go through here, as I said, the path is in the description down below, but if you're wanting to navigate and learn along the way, so we go to our C drive, we go to users, you find your username. From once you've found your username, you then go to your app data folder, then into local. Then you find your packages settings, so your packages folder, which will be somewhere around here. And there it is, staring me in the face, packages. Now you then have this list of various gobbledygook that comes through here. What you're looking for is now this is where there is a slight fork in the road here. If you are using Microsoft Store package, then you are looking for the Microsoft.flightsimulator _ 8WEKY yada yada yada. This is the folder that you're looking for. As I said, this is for Windows Store users. So if you have installed if you purchased Microsoft Flight Simulator via the Windows Store, then this is the one that you need to pick up. So once you're in here, you will then go into local cache and then into packages And then if there's nothing here, you can, so there should be a community folder here. So if it doesn't appear there, and as I said, and if you have a default installation, stressing this one here, folks, a default installation, you can create the folder manually if required, but this is where you should find your community folder. So you would, so just walk that back again. So we go Microsoft Flight Simulator underscore gobbledygook, then we go into local cache, and then we go into packages, and then this is where your community folder will be. Okay, now you'll notice that in this particular example that I'm showing you here, it's not, and I'll show you that why in just a moment. All right, let's jump back up here now. Let's backtrack a second here. So let's jump back up to our packages folder. So in our packages folder, so we've gone into our C drive, users, username, app data, local, packages. Now for Steam users here, as I said, again, now Steam users, if you've chosen the default installation path on C drive, this is the path for you. So you go slightly differently. You now go to Microsoft.flight dashboard underscore 8 WK gobbledygook. Okay, so we're going to go into that one. Then the path is pretty much exactly the same. After that, we go to local cache, and then there would be a packages folder and then community folder. Because I'm using the Microsoft Store Edition, the next folder structure down from here is not filled out because that's not my main thing. This was actually used, I think this was actually used during the alpha testing. But anyway, so this path is going to be for you if you are a Steam user. Again, description, the direct path is going to be in the description down below. But Nova, I hear you say, why do you not have the community folder there? Why is it? What's different? Or I didn't install on my C drive. I installed on my D drive, my E drive, my K drive, whatever drive. That is a really great question and really great point. And even if you installed it on your C drive, but installed it at, say, C drive / MSFS, for example, then things are going to be different. Same also applies if you are a Steam user and you chose a separate or a separate Steam installation location other than your C drive. So let's have a look at what a custom installation looks like. So here we are on my flight drive. So this is my D drive, and this is where I have Microsoft Flight Simulator installed. So I have my MSFS installed under D drive / MSFS. So you can see here that, in my official folder, one store. So again, my copy is a Microsoft Store copy. So this is my folder. If you have, so your installation path might be E drive / Microsoft Flight Simulator, or K drive / Flight Sim. If you chose a custom installation path during your install, this is the set of instructions that's going to apply to you. So let's just bring this one back up again. So I'm here, my D drive, my MSFS. So I know that this is my official drive. This is my official store. For Steam users, so for example, if you chose, E drive / Steam, then as your main install, as your install directory, then it has a folder structure that would go something like Steam Apps, Common, Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's essentially the same as this custom folder here. All right, so you can see here that we've got my D drive MSFS, which is the folder I created that my official folder is in. And hey presto, hey look, this is my community folder. So this is where all my community add-ons are located. And I'll sort of just blow things up a little bit, make it a bit easier here. So this is where I've got all of my add-ons installed. So if you're, so this is my community folder. So just to recap what we've done over the last few minutes is that we've gone through and we've found the locations of where all your community folder is. I said if you're using a default Windows Store install or a Steam install, there's going to be under your C drive, users, username, app data, local, packages, Microsoft.flight simulator underscore gobbledygook, local cache / packages. That's where your community folder will live. If you're using a custom install, look for the top level folder that you installed, that you directed Flight Simulator to install to. So in my case, D drive/MSFS, and then that is where your community folder will be located. Okay, so now that we have found our community folder, now it's time to put some add-ons in. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through 3 add-on installations today. So what we're going to do is I've got my 3 add-ons here. So we're going to be installing 2 liveries and we're going to be installing a aircraft. Now I've chosen these deliberately because I want to show off a couple of different points with these ones. So the first 2, so the big radials P40 that we're going to install here, and the first livery there, these are both done with just a zip file. The second livery is an installer because I just wanted to show off the fact that one of the things I love about this sim is because of the way the system is set up with the community folder is it makes packaging up installers really easy. But anyway, that's irrelevant. So just a little tip so that some installers will be smart enough to detect where your flight sim community folder is, but it's a good idea just to double check what they're doing. So first step, what we're going to do is we're going to extract both of these zip files here. Now, while we wait for that to go through and get itself done, what we might do is we might show, while that's extracting, let's show off the installer one first. So this is the process for using an installer. As I said, should be pretty easy. So we're going to run this one here. So essentially follow the bouncing ball of the installer. So follow the guides, traditional EULA there, considering I created this installer package, I know what it says. All right, so this particular installer, the installers, for example, that I use, it automatically will be able to find or pass the installer directory. And then it'll display it to you to verify that that's correct. So we can see that, yes, that's correct. It's on my D drive, MSFS, community, and then that's the folder it is going to install delivery to. And then we go next, done, and there we go, that's done. And if we have a look here, it should have installed. Where are it? One of these ones is not like the other. Aircraft Concorde RAF. There we go. Cool. So installed. Bang. Hey presto, all done. Right. So that's an installer. So as I said, it's a good idea. So you'll find that from the larger developers like PMDG, from Just Flight. As I said, I do it for some of my livery packages as well, just for ease of people being able to install stuff. So if you're ever unsure, want to verify where it's installing to, you still know where your community folder is. All right, so that's the installer one taken care of. We're going to forget this one. All right, so now let's have a look at non-installers. So let's start with the big radials aircraft, the P40B. So this is the contents of the zip folder that we've from when we purchased the aircraft from their store. So if we open up this folder, we can see, look at all these various files that are in here. But the key file you need to look for to help you know because one of the questions that often pops up around installing add-ons from here is like, which folder do I get? Because they'll download a zip file that has stacked folders. The key to knowing which is the folder you need to go into your community folder is look for these 2 files. So your layout.json file and your manifest.json file. The folder that contains those 2 files is the folder that needs to go into your simulator. So literally all we need to do here now is we go cut and we go paste. And that's it. That's it. It's done. It's installed. It is now installed into your sim. So probably the biggest thing to clarify with this is the fact that, again, I'll just show the same thing with the livery here, is that it's got the layout.json file and the manifest.json file. So these 2 files, I won't get into the technicalities of it, but those 2 files are critical to the sim to be able to say, hey, this is an add-on that I need to load into the sim during its launch and its launch sequence. So the folder that contains these 2 files is the folder that you need to go in. So not this folder, not this folder, you know, not these folders down here. You need to look for these two files and then go up to the folder that contains them. And that's the folder that needs to go into your sim. So again, we're going to go cut, we're going to go here, and we're going to go paste. And that's it. So that's it. So we have now just installed 3 add-ons into our flight simulator. So don't need to take my word for it. Let's go jump into the sim and let's prove that they're actually installed. Alrighty, folks, so here we are in the sim. So we've loaded in, we launched the sim after doing all those kind of modifications. Now let's have a look and see how we can now verify that the content that we just put in is in our sim. So there's a couple ways you can do it. Probably the most obvious one is, especially for aircraft, it's a really easy one with aircraft, is that we literally go to my hangar and then we go, okay, let's go change our aircraft. So in this case, it's going to be a P40. Probably helps if we put the dash in there. All right, so we've got the big radials P40B. Hey presto, there it is. It's in the sim. Like, kind of obvious. This is probably the easiest way to do it. So we can see, there we go. Congratulations, it's all done. All right, let's have a look at the liveries. The liveries are a little different because obviously, you know, it's not just an aircraft. So we installed 2 liveries, remember. We installed a Concorde livery and a Cessna 172 livery. So let's go and have a look and see what they did. So let's clear that one out. So first off, let's grab the Concorde one, which was the one that used the installer. Installers are not to be feared, by the way. And then we're going to load this one in, let that load. Then we're going to click on liveries. And we're going to see that it was a Royal Air Force Transport Command one, which includes 2 liveries, which, by the way, quick little plug for myself, is available as freeware, donationware, available either from my Gumroad store or available from flightsim.to. Plug over. So this is successfully installed. So hey, we have Concorde in there. Right, so we've checked that that livery is in. All right, the next one was a Cessna 172. So again, let's change our aircraft to the 172. Now, I know, because I made the livery, that this will work across both the G1000 and the analog gauge one, but we're just going to load the G1000 one just because it's easier. And now we're going to go to liveries, and we're going to go, there it is, 6Y Juliet India Mike. And there we are. There it is, loaded in the sim. Also, by the way, this one is available from my Gumroad store for free. So there we go, folks. This is it. So this is how you install add-on content into your sim. Now, I know that you might be asking, well, how do I know the content's installed if it's not an aircraft, not a livery, if it's a scenery piece, for example? And that's a really great question. So how do we check that? So this is where we can use our content manager tool. So we can use our content manager, and this allows you to actually see what's installed and what's not. Now, a little bit of a quirk with this one. So let's, for example, search Concorde livery. So we can see that, there we go. So we've got the DC Designs Concorde that's installed. We've got and 2 livery packs that I've produced that I've got installed in my sim. Okay, great. Just as a curious, interesting thing, what you may find is that depending on how, and so, sorry, and if, for example, you had a scenery, so let's have a look, Farnborough, for example, there we go. So I've got Burning Blue Designs Farnborough installed at the moment. That's installed all there, and I can't, obviously I wouldn't be able to see that from the hangar, but by searching the content manager, I can see that it's installed. Now, as an interesting little quirk here, some developers are not following the SDK completely. So this is a bit of an addendum here. And it is sometimes found, and actually, I think I can actually show this off, actually, if I go to not installed. Yeah, here we go. So NZA Simulations, for example, they've, with their liveries that they've released as part that join as part of their scenery packs, unfortunately, they haven't followed the SDK completely. So even though it's in the sim and the sim can see it, it shows up as not installed. may or may not affect you, and it may or may not mean that it won't appear in your sim. But if it appears not installed, it means that the sim definitely knows it's there and it's trying to load it, but something in the package structure is not fully compliant with the SDK, which means that it will show up as not installed. Now, it may be available in the sim, no problem at all, but just so you are aware, this can happen. So I've seen it happen with a number of liveries and a number of airports where even though they're available in the sim, it shows as not installed in your content manager. So don't be alarmed if you see this. Don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed. It should be fine. But if in doubt, just remove it. And with that, folks, that does now round out this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video and would like to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe so stay in touch and so you can stay across all future videos that I release here on the channel. And as well as you can always stay in touch with me between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter and on Twitch. Just search Novawing24. All right, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.